Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. I'm your host, James Gardner, certified athletic therapist, certified strength and conditioning specialist, yoga instructor, human being. This platform, for the pros, by the pros, anybody in the performance space, and beyond. Welcome here to share in the stories of professionals, experiences, journeys, learning along the way. It's a platform to connect, to network, and to be a part of a community that cares, with conversations that matter, experiences that resonate, and generate ideas, thought-provoking, organic dialogue, passionate pros. Brought to you as always by First Star Therapy, Mobility Tape, Epic, and Benchmark Athletics. In association with the Canadian Athletic Therapists Association. It's First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being a part of it.
Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy roundtable brought to you by First Star Therapy. I'm your host, James Gardner, and this is a platform for the pros, by the pros. Passionate pros, organic dialogue. Let's chat. Thanks for listening. Let's roll.
Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, session 54, an athletic therapy roundtable, starting off 2021 with a really special episode or session here with 4 guests explaining the student experience from across the globe. So before we even get going, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're experiencing all 3 fashions of the day here. We are ranging from the west coast of Canada all the way over to Ireland, and we'll have our student experts here in a minute introduce themselves and start the rundown of what their experience has been like in the AT world through the pandemic, but finding the profession and a bunch of other valuable tools. They are the future of our profession and the future of the performance space. Not for any added pressure in the session, but always good to hear from students and sort of have them lead the way. So that's how we're going to start off 2021. As always, brought to you by Mobility Tape, the only heat activated kinesiology tape on the market, and First Star Therapy. Just a reminder, as we start 2021, membership is available for CATA members. That is $10 a month, which gets you 1.6 CEUs based off the quizzes that will be unlocked with membership. That's $10 a month, 1.6 CEUs. Jump on it. You can get through that under courses, firststartherapy.com. And secondary to that, just want to let everybody know that we have released our October seminar, The Shot You Don't Want to Take, which is a seminar in mental health and addiction in the sports space. That's now on the YouTube channel. First Star Let's Chat is the YouTube channel, available publicly, the full presentation, questions, PowerPoint, all of the entire thing start to finish. The audio version also available here via podcast. So appreciate everybody's time in listening to that. Let's get into the real good stuff here. Our student panel made up of Taryn, Adam, Mike, and Zach will go. Let's start over in Ireland with Taryn. Let you say hello and what year you're in and where you're studying.
Hi, yeah. So I'm in year 2, second year in IT Carlow, and I'm studying athletic therapy and sports rehab. And do you want me to
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's great. We'll come back around to your background. Just want to get your year and where you are. So Taryn is a Canadian implant in Ireland. Let's go to our Irishman in Ireland. Adam, you're up.
So I'm from Wexford in Ireland, and I'm in the same class as Taryn. I'm in second year in sports rehab in Carlow as well.
Beautiful. So we'll get to that, and we'll explore what Carlow is all about and how the program looks through you two. Obviously, Mike, let's head over to the West Coast. I think an Ontario implant in BC, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a 4th year student at Camosun, just going into my last semester, and the real world starts after that. Scary stuff.
You're already in it, and
Yeah.
we appreciate you being here. Zach, last but not least, man, give us your year and where you're at.
Hey guys, so I currently live in Waterdown and I go to Sheridan. I'm in my third year there and experiencing the COVID world, not so much the real world.
It is the real world and it is what it is, and we'll just keep making the best of it. So appreciate you guys being on here to be our guest and our panel on here today, this evening, wherever you are in the world. Obviously, we're going global with this one, which is amazing. So a little bit of reach over there in the UK and in Ireland with you two, Taryn and Adam, and then across Canada from coast to coast almost with Mike and Zach. So Taryn, I'm going to come back around to you and we'll go in the same sort of order. How did you find AT, and what is sort of your passion, or what is the area of focus for you at this point in second year over there?
So I found it, I grew up with huge background with sports and everything. And with my own injury, I became intrigued with the idea of sports medicine. And that kind of led towards athletic therapy and helping people and being that part of medicine, right? So I took a year off, kind of just to see what I wanted to do and the comp plan. And I found Mount Royal, their program, but their program is so competitive, and it's very, it just at that time it was a better option just to look more to see what was out there.
Sure.
And so I was looking at the mutual agreement that Canada has with the US and Ireland, and that was what kind of brought me towards Ireland and wanting to study more and just reach beyond the borders kind of thing.
Amazing.
And so yeah, so I found out that IT Carlow has kind of agreement with Mount Royal, which comes in handy too. And yeah, so that's where I am now in my second year, and I plan to do my full bachelor degree here and most likely my master's as well.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And you get not only the AT experience, but you get the international experience too. Yeah. So something that I think you're the only one here that is international in a different country than you're originally from. So some cool experiences that we'll pick your brain on as well. Any differences or things that you've noticed in sort of that transition? Adam, how about you? Where did you find athletic therapy, athletic training? What do they call it in Ireland specifically? And what's your sort of area of focus right now?
So I, like, growing up as well, like Taryn, I came from a very sporting family. So like my dad and my granddad would play a lot of GAA. So when I was growing up, like a young Irish lad, you were kind of forced into the GAA. I wasn't the best at it. So when 2 years ago, I kind of took a coaching approach to it, and I started coaching kids in GAA. And kind of from that, then when I was leaving school, I liked science and I liked sport from coaching and stuff. And I said, sure. I went and to different classes for like what to do when you leave school. And I found physio and I found athletic therapy, and I picked Carlow just because it's only like less than an hour away from my house. I'm not as exciting as Taryn going across the world or anything, but I'm kind of a home bird, so I kind of stayed nearby.
Yeah, also important, and I think sort of a lot of people in the same boat. So again, having you on, thank you guys very much, all of you, and for everybody who's here live and everybody picking this up. I think it's really important to share your experience, right? We all talked about this, and we all know that you're your own expert in your life and your experience. So sharing this, we're going to have relatable material for everybody else. So really appreciate that. And so far, some going across the ocean and then just going next door, both valuable experiences. Mike, how about you over there on the West Coast at Camosun? And I said it right this time.
Yeah. I got into athletic therapy kind of by chance, I guess. So I did a degree in kin at Ottawa U, and I kind of just, after high school was like, okay, well, university is the next step. Got into that. Again, I had an athletic background. I played rugby. So I played for the Ottawa U, and I met Kathleen Gauthier. She was the athletic therapist at Algonquin College. And so I got to do my internship in fourth year with her. And she got me onto the path. Then after I graduated, I went to Edmonton, worked for a bit, and tried to do continuing kind of courses. I really wanted to I thought I was going to get into physio. That's just kind of like, next step after kin. You're like, kin, physio, boom. Mm-hmm. And then I got waitlisted. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do in the interim? And then looked around, saw the Mount Royal program. And then a buddy of mine told me that Victoria was the best place in the world. So I was like, why not try that out? And that's how I wound up on the island and got into the BAIT program here. And haven't looked back. It's been fantastic. Absolutely love it.
Oh man, and some worldly experience already, going from Ontario to BC, also relying on your buddy to tell you that that is, the best place on earth, which it might be unless you're over there in Carlow with those two. I'm not sure. We can have that battle later on, but awesome share, man, and glad you're enjoying it. And I love that it's so raw that this is almost like a, I don't want to say fallback, but a plan that didn't work out, but is now working out beautifully. And I feel the passion in talking to you about what athletic therapy is and can be. And I know a couple of the people out there at Camosun, and each one of the students on here today has been recommended by either a professor, a colleague, a friend, somebody you study with. I've done my background research to get high quality people who really embody what it is to be a student and moving towards a professional in this space. So again, thank you for your time as well. And I know it's the morning there, so hope you've had breakfast. We'll hunker in here for about an hour or so and get through this. But Zach, you're up, man. You're in Ontario. Tell us a little bit about how you found AT and where it's brought you to date.
So kind of similar to Mike, I always had a sporty background growing up, watching sports, playing sports. Went to University of Windsor, following my mom's footsteps, thinking I was going to go into sport management actually. And then while I was there, kind of had a change of heart because my roommate became a student therapist with the hockey team. So kind of prod his brain a little bit, found out that this was an opportunity. Had a lot of buddies on the volleyball team there. Got in with their volleyball team for my final 2 years, and kind of just grew with my experience there. Wasn't very good my first year with them. Started to excel in my second year. Found out about Sheridan, and here I am in my third year at Sheridan. So it was just kind of a out of the nowhere, not really knowing what athletic therapy was. Always seeing that person run onto the field or run onto the court and thinking, man, that's cool. And then realizing that it's a career I can do. So it was kind of out of the blue, but just something that I found very interesting, and just I started to excel, and so I decided to take a chance.
Awesome, man. And another life lesson, sort of relying on the experience of others, which you are all providing today. So again, Zach, thank you for your time. And we're really going to share this forum and sort of go back and forth. But before we get to that, Adam, you kept saying GA, and just for clarity of the audience, that's the Gaelic Athletics or Gaelic Association, right? Can you give us a little rundown on what that is, and just for clarity on our side of the pond?
So like when I in Wexford, my club in Monagear Vogue, it's more of a hurling club. Like there's Gaelic football as well, but I would be more hurling and football, whereas there's also handball, which is like another sport. I wouldn't know much about handball. I'd be more Wexford is more kind of a hurling county, so hurling would be my thing. It's the sport with the stick. It's kind of like hockey.
Kind of like hockey, kind of like golf, and
it's like in the air as well, though, so it's kind of a mixture.
Yeah, and tons of good videos out there on the internet too for times of a pandemic. You can watch a bunch of hurling and things like this. But a good share, and we'll just get some clarity on that. Come back around to sort of some of the student experiences. Adam, you're in second year at IT Carlow, right? So what does that look like for you? What is your classes? What do your classes look and feel like right now in the pandemic? Where is the focus of study? And do you have placements currently, or how's that looking as things work?
So placement, I don't think happens until the second semester of third year. So we haven't done much of we haven't been out on our own a lot. Like this year has been a lot different to like first year, where like due to COVID, we'd be a lot of Zoom classes. I wouldn't particularly like it as much because with a course like therapy, it's a lot of hands-on stuff. So I feel like we're suffering when it comes to stuff like this. Like Zoom is great, but it's not great for interacting with lecturers and stuff unless you feel confident enough to talk in front of the 90 people that's in our course. In our course, there's 90 people, but in my class, there's only 17. And then again, we were divided into pods of 7 this year. So very, very minimal amount of people. And like, when you go to Carlow is a very small college. Like when I went to school, I always was in small schools of like 5 people in my class. So it was like so welcoming to go to a college where you were nearly like a family between like the 17 people that were in your class, and everyone knows everyone. So it's great.
Yeah, no, beautiful. And just to sort of give us an overview of things, I think that paints a very nice picture. And we'll talk, Mike, to you about Camosun, and Zach, to you about how it feels at Sheridan as well through COVID. But also, I like that idea, that sort of like that communal feel, right? You feel like you're a part of something as soon as you get into a program. It's not a massive program, although it could be housed at a massive school, or depending what I guess your version of a massive school. I mean, you tripled your class size, and so that must feel a little bit overwhelming, at least to begin. But it's great to have you on. Taryn, how about you? You transitioned from Alberta, right, and now you're living in Ireland. So how has that transition been for you? You're in your second year. You're in a pandemic. How are things for you on your end in the AT field?
It's definitely different. It's just the transition between like a small town east of Calgary to moving across the world to Carlow. Like it's surreal experience, right? But during this pandemic, like for Christmas, I wasn't able to see my family. Like last year, I was able to fly back home. So it's definitely a challenge that way. But thank God for Zoom and FaceTime and like all the new technology, right? But even with athletic therapy, it kind of opens your eyes to see like um, what the challenges for us we have, like being able to have that hands-on experience to communicate with with athletes a little bit more, and because they're at home and we're somewhere else, it's definitely a challenge, but it's a challenge that we're adapting to and we're able to overcome. So I mean, it is what it is, and you kind of have to adapt to improvise and everything. So
Yeah, no, I think it's the reality, right? The reality of this is that we can't do all the things we want to do, all the things that we're used to doing, so we can hunker down with what we have and try to make the best of it. I'm sure being across the world is not the same as being across a city or across a town, but at the same time, during these times, it sort of is. So, you have a nice small community there. Does it feel like Adam mentioned as well to you, like a family there, the small class sizes, and how
oh
does that
yeah,
feel? Yeah.
definitely. It's very home welcoming kind of thing. So it's nice that way.
Amazing stuff. Mike, out there on the West Coast, you are an implant, right, from Ontario, and sometimes not received so well in BC, to my understanding. But hey, you're there, and not you personally, but Ontario, And how are things out there with the Camosun program, working through the pandemic? How is that for you and your experience to this point?
Yeah, for sure. Just to touch on the Ontario thing, the new term I've picked up from being out here is is unterrible. So that's the one that everyone tells me about.
I've heard on Scario before.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
I don't know. It's been a change, obviously. Going from Ottawa U was massive class sizes in a general program to Camosun, where our class sizes are like 30. So again, it's kind of like what Adam and Taryn are saying. It's such a small, kind of tight knit community, and I absolutely love it. I mean, you're not just a number anymore. You're an actual person. I know all of my professors or teachers by their first name, and they all know mine. Like anytime you have a communication thing you want to do, you can walk up, either talk to them, drop them an email or whatever, and they always respond so fast. Like it's just great being either appreciated, but also being seen, and I absolutely love that. And to touch on what Taryn said too, like with COVID, with kind of the changes, it's taught us all, I think, a really valuable lesson in that like things won't go to plan forever. I mean, even if you have the most well laid out thing, like we're gonna do this and this and this and this, and this is how I'm gonna get my job, like it just doesn't work that way. And so the amount of variability in our futures is something we're gonna have to always contend with. And I think that's a really valuable lesson for anyone going through COVID, is that like change is just going to happen, and you're going to have to respond to it, and that's just crucial going forward.
Sure, and then the foundational pieces that you're laying through the knowledge and the understanding of how to do things online, and maybe gravitating towards some remote healthcare options and things like that, where travel is either going to resume to a lesser capacity than it was in the past. Reaching more people this way. Have you felt like accessibility to knowledge has been enhanced through this for you and your end, or has it been tough to navigate?
It's been a bit of both. So I've always been like a really tactile learner. I'm sure like many people in the program, like you want to get your hands on something and just kind of feel and see what it looks like. But I found out that going through like online classes, it just teaches you to listen a lot more, which is also a pretty valuable skill for me, at least. The thing that I kind of like about it is, even if we have a couple recorded lectures for us, like there are live stream lectures, which is great, and there are a couple recorded ones, which I actually kind of like a little bit better, just because I can do whatever I need to, cleaning the house or making breakfast, wherever. It's kind of like a podcast. You just put on your headphones and you're listening to the information. You kind of absorb it that way. So it's kind of it's hard to say that's kind of a passive way to learn, but still an effective one, I think, if you do it right. But it is obviously challenging. I mean, it's not going to work for everybody. I don't know. It's hard to, like I said, get the practical experience.
Absolutely.
But it's nice to get the like the background education a bit more, like that, the reasons of why we do things. And it's kind of the thing that we delve more into now, which is kind of nice for us. I mean, you're going to have to learn that.
Absolutely. I think those pieces are definitely the struggle that's very real and very real for, practitioners who are certified already, who are just fresh out of school, who haven't quite graduated yet, or have just recently graduated. That gap, right? It's like that learning gap between what you've learned and how you're going to apply it in whatever space you're in the school or the professional space. If you're sort of locked out of your job or locked out of those hands-on skills, it makes it very, very difficult. And I don't think that's anything we can overlook. But at the same time, again, coming back around to sort of the base of this knowledge that we've all sort of touched on, I think, to this point, is grabbing as much as we can in this moment and doing what we can with it. So appreciate that. Appreciate the share. Zach, we'll slide over to you. Your go. Give us your rundown.
So right now, like everybody, we're in such a state of change, but normally it would be a year where we're going back, doing a semester of placement, first semester field, and second semester going and working in a clinic, just kind of shadowing. But right now it's just so up in the air. We don't have any field experience, especially with our school being in Brampton being such a hotspot. It's been such a change. We go to class, our small labs twice a week. And when we go, our labs have been split up. There's 15 people in our lab and even that's been split into half. So we're getting videoed into the other half. A prof might be on one side teaching the lab, and then on the other side, we're getting videoed in with a TA there. So that's kind of how it's kind of changed for us in the school year with the learning. But there's just been so many different ways that we can actually soak up and change the way that we're learning right now too. For me, I've been able to personally self-reflect a lot more than I did before. I'm personally a big extrovert, try to take everything off of everybody else and just talk to everybody. But I've been able to just internally try and learn, change the way I'm learning, adjust different things with myself and see where my weaknesses are. And although we're not getting that hands-on experience that we did before, I think it's a big way that we're really I personally am able to learn the nitty-gritty of everything a little bit in more detail and try and grow from it. And then any experience that I do get, whether it's with a TA in lab or with talking to other students about their experiences from last year, and our profs have done a really good job of trying to force us to reflect and on our experience before and how we can continue to grow our skills. I think that's been a huge help and way that I personally been growing this year through this kind of strange time we're in.
Yeah, no, a great share. And I think all of those things we talked as a group a couple of days ago. And one of the things that we all agreed upon is you guys are going through something that nobody else has gone through. And as you navigate this space, you're going to come out on the other end with some elevated levels of either creativity or understanding, and the things that you're missing or you feel like you're missing, if you've never experienced them, I mean, you're okay. It's like my 5-year-old, he's never experienced anything different than going to kindergarten. Going to kindergarten in Canada with a mask on, right? Like this is all he's experienced. So this is normal for him. And so although, yes, you're missing some of those pieces with the hands-on things, I mean, I hope before the end of your your scholastic career, you're getting those before you get out into the field. But you're developing a lot of different skills, communication, navigating this space, and you're going to provide a lot for us who have been through school and are now doing this on the other end, and trying to navigate this and saying, what's this going to look like? I feel like there's going to be a heavy lean on the students coming out, and no pressure again, but I think that's advantageous for you as well, right? You just navigate it as best you can, and we do the same, and then hopefully at the other side we come out with something. But if there is another side, obviously, like, it's going to be a transition. It's not just going to one day stop and flip. But let's change gears a little bit here. Where do you see yourself, Zach? Let's just wind this backwards. So Taryn, you'll have a long haul here, but Zach, where do you see yourself in this profession in terms of looking forward? And the reason I ask this question is because when I was in school, there were three options for jobs. The mindset for most of us as students was, I'm going to own my own clinic, and not to say that any of these are bad. I'm going to own my own clinic. I'm going to work in pro sports, or I'm going to take that professor's job. Right. And those were the three areas. And then what this platform, through a lot of the conversations that I've been privy to and hosted and gathered and all of these things and reflected upon through my career, is that there's a lot of space in between those three professions. And the idea very much is to have students and have therapists and people in the performance space navigate that a little bit differently, hopefully based off of some of these experiences that everybody's sharing in the profession. Where do you see yourself, or do you see yourself within the AT space moving forward?
Me personally, I'm still kind of in an area of trying to figure that out. For so long, after especially going into Sheridan, I really liked the idea of a varsity clinic. I liked the idea of the team environment, whether it was like working in a clinic or just working with an individual team. I really like the idea of being part of the team, specifically just because I've been around that for so long. But now, like, kind of just looking at other options, talking to other people, it's really just starting to open my eyes on like just different areas that I can go. One thing that always did draw me towards the varsity clinic was the idea of being able to, not necessarily like it being a varsity clinic, having constant like people coming into the clinic, like you're going to have a clientele, like not all like the stuff that like people kind of look at that, but more like the teaching people the way that I was kind of helped up. Like I know like the staff at Windsor, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them kind of opening my eyes into the field. And I think that's kind of something that draws me towards trying to like help other people that are trying to grow through the field. So like that teaching part of it, I think that was like something that's really got me hooked into this actual career choice. So that's kind of something that I'm kind of looking at, but then I really don't know where I might end up. I'm just open to any opportunity and just trying to run with it.
Sure, and I think those are great responses. And again, this isn't a pressure cooker. This isn't a question to sort of put you on the spot. It's just to sort of navigate. Where do we see ourselves in this profession? In this, from the student experience, where do you see opportunity, or where do you see yourself, maybe yourself or the profession as a whole? Mike, how about you? Not that you have a defined space that you want to be in. Let's go a little bit broader with you. There's opportunity in this profession to work with any human being because we're gaining skills along the way that allow us to do so. Coming at it from that end, there's sort of limitless potential. Where do you figure, or where do you see yourself as you navigate sort of fourth year and coming to the end of your academic career and your experience obviously playing and working with teams and things like that? Where do you see this profession going, either for yourself or how do you see this profession as a whole?
Yeah, for sure. I always thought that I would do, like everything like pro sports. I'm going to be on the sidelines of some rugby team and I'm going to love it. But now the more I've been in school, I've noticed that it's not overly the thing I want. I got an opportunity to do a placement at Brentwood College. It's like a private high school. Mm-hmm. And it's not one of those three pillars. It wasn't the clinic, it wasn't a pro sports team, and it wasn't like someone else's job. So it was a kind of a cool experience to get. I mean, I understand people don't like high schoolers, or they don't like kids or whatever it is, but I actually really relished it. I mean, I loved being on the sidelines with the kids. I loved the opportunity of being in the clinic. It gave me variability because I got to see all these different sports teams throughout the year. But I also really liked the educational component to it. I mean, these kids are impressionable. They're young and they want to learn. They also want to get back from their injuries, So anytime you give them anything to do, you rolled your ankle, okay, do these exercises, blah, 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 blah. And they come back and they're eager to do it.
Right.
but also it's an opportunity to give them prevention education. Like next time you're doing this, this, and this, we'll change these 3 things, and going forward in your life, this is going to be much more valuable for you. Yeah. And I think that's a great place to have an impact is with the youth of tomorrow.
Sure.
So I really like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I really like that opportunity. I also thought that coming into it again, like loving the field aspect, loving the sidelines thing. I like being part of a team, like I said, a rugby player. So I've always kind of been in that tight knit community for it. So I was like, well, if I'm part of a team, it'll be something similar. So I never really thought I'd really like the clinical aspect of it too much. I know it's part of the job, but I always thought it'd be like the least favorite part of the job. And then this year I got to do a clinical placement with an athletic therapist, Matt Lunsdane here, and he was incredible. He taught me so much. And I really have way more respect for the clinical aspect of it. It's more of a problem solving thing, which I quite like.
Yeah.
But I think going forward, that high school kind of age group is where I want to be. But again, it's open. It'll kind of see where I end up. As we all know, this career path isn't very linear. So I'm going to have to just kind of be open to whatever comes around.
Sure. And I think, again, coming back to the foundational pieces, right, there's sort of a metaphor in emergency planning and doing your EAP and understanding that. Like, you can have a framework for everything that you want to do, but there's always going to be things that get thrown at you, and the path you're correct, like non-linear completely. I was going to be a few things, and I got to do some of them and experience some of them, and then a 360 and a 180 and a backwards and then back around again. And here we are. But I love the amateur space. And if you haven't listened to it yet, there's a session on here with Dr. Luciano Donardo, who's an MD. I had the opportunity to work with his daughters through their ACL rehabs. They both tore their ACLs, both soccer players, both 14 and 16 when it happened to those two. And he had laid out basically a plan of like how and why there is a need for athletic therapy and some action to happen in the amateur space. And I think that is an area that, although maybe not hogging the glory spotlight like pro sport does, there is a whole lot more value in being able to provide learning, understanding, knowledge, and impact in those lower levels, because then when they get to pro, they already have that understanding from somebody like yourself or Zach or Adam or Taryn when we get out into the field. We're educating at grassroots, quote unquote, and then that builds and elevates so that we're not fighting that battle of this hip that doesn't work properly at 24, but I'm playing in the NHL, right? So anyway, the great points, great discussion points, great shares, both you guys. We'll work our way backwards. So Adam, I know you guys are in your sort of your early years. You're in your second year of a program. You may not have an aspiration of a specific goal. Are there people out there that you've seen in the athletic therapy field in Ireland, or do you see space in Ireland to sort of build this profession a little bit more broadly?
So like when I finished school, like it was always up in the air what I wanted to do. Like through my whole life, I wanted to be a teacher, and there was nothing stopping me from being a teacher. And then near the end of school, I kind of took the athletic therapy approach to things. I looked into it, really enjoyed what it looked like. I enjoy the course now. I was more sure what I wanted to do after college than I am now. I feel like after coming, this is my second year now, there's so much more than just, as you said, the academic approach, joining a team or having your own clinic. Like I wanted all 3 of them things. I wanted like a team more so at the start, and now I don't really know what I want. And then like listening to like your podcast, I think I'm getting the name right, Victoria Swan. Like just listening to her and what she's doing now.
Becky Swan, and she's with the police department in Vancouver. Yeah. And then there's Victoria Cleary, who's doing military work as well, but both great ones. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Mixture then. But just different people like that, you know, you just listen to their stories and you're thinking, wow, like I would love something like that. I don't know, like the reason why I'm coaching and stuff is because, as Mike and Zach said about being part of a team, it's great to be part of a team. And like the young lads that always be coming up to you, oh, this is hurting me, this is hurt. And it's like such a nice thing to be able to say, oh, this is how you fix it and stuff. I know I'm only in my second year, but you know, a bit like for stretching and stuff. So it's like nice to kind of give back to like a team and be part of it. Look, I don't know where I'll be in 2 years' time or 3 years' time. I could be doing a master's. I might not be. I don't know yet.
Awesome. I think it's a raw and a very real response. But you bring up a great point as well. And it's not that, look at that, I want to have what she has, but it's that you can create it. She's created that by navigating the space, by probably not knowing in her second year where she was going to be or what she wanted to do, right? Moving into the future. So I think not knowing, and all of you have said, I'm not quite sure. And that's the answer, right? Like, we don't have to be so sure of everything along the way. We just keep following the channels of learning, right? And knowledge and growth, and really, massaging the clay that we are into what we want to be, as we move along. There is no definitive answer. Trust me, I was going to work in professional baseball. I did that. I know I'm the furthest thing from working in professional sports now, and navigating every day, following sort of like passion and doing this as part of it, and really trying to navigate the space myself, right? It might look like I know, but I don't know. I've been at this 15 years and I still don't know, but I know that there is a collaborative approach that's necessary. I know that having conversation is necessary, and doing things like this goes a long, long way. So I appreciate your willingness to share. Taryn, how about you in terms of your understanding of the profession and how it's received in Alberta? And you have this dual sort of role, and how it's received in Ireland. What's your take on how athletic therapy is perceived in both countries?
Well, I think, I don't know, like, for Ireland, it's so, just people are open. Like, I'm not sure about Alberta because I was never able to get that aspect of everything. But for Ireland, like, everything's so, not sure, like, it's just this real, like, whole different world, I guess, over here, right? You have different ways, like, there's some muscles that I've learned over here that they say differently than people in Canada, right?
Okay.
So there's different
Yeah.
little things like that. But it's in some aspects it's very similar, and others it's just the different sports that you will work with, or different
Absolutely.
clinics, or like different peoples, and like it's same in some ways, but it's also totally different in others. So
Sure. Is the profession, and maybe Adam, if you want to jump in too, but Taryn, do you feel like the profession there is known in Ireland? People know what an athletic therapist is. If you say I'm an athletic therapist, do people understand? Do people follow what that might mean?
I I think so, and I think a lot of people will get confused with physiotherapists as
Yeah.
well, but it's for the most part, I think people are catching on. Like, as it grows in later years, it'll grow. More people will understand, like, the difference between, oh, I'm a physiotherapist, between an athletic therapist, right? So it's definitely
Sure.
grown a lot more, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And Adam, growing up there, did you know athletic therapists, sort of like you knew what that was, coming through there, sort of in sporting realms?
Like, I would have known like physio as a, like, there's so many physios like close to my home and stuff, but I wouldn't
Sure.
have known the term athletic therapy as much. Like, if I was to try explain to someone that doesn't know, like maybe like a relation of mine, I just say a sports physio rather than saying athletic therapy and stuff like this, because I just kind of dumb it down to, it's kind of physio in the sports, if you get me. But I didn't know the term when I was little. I just knew that there was a guy that ran out onto the pitch. That's all I knew what a physio was. And when I was in school, I did placement. We had when there's a year called fourth year, transition year, and you get to go on like placement to different places and stuff. And I went to the hospital in Wexford, and I met physios down there, and I didn't know that there was physios like in hospitals. It was oblivious to me, like, that was a thing. So I thought that a physio was more just someone who ran out onto the pitch if someone was down, and it's so much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just sort of understanding that and navigating this space over here, it brings me to sort of the next part of where I want to go with this. And I didn't really prep you for this intentionally. The collaborative approach, right? As we go through school, we understand what our role is as an athletic therapist. We understand how well developed we are in certain skills and certain realms and certain aspects. Have there been opportunities, or will there be opportunities, or do you feel that opportunities are necessary to work amongst other professions as part of your learning as well? Zach, we'll start with you and then come back over to Ireland and then jump over to the West Coast, Mike, for you at the end.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Me personally, I really think it's going to be a huge thing to have to be able to collaborate with other professions. There's a lot of things that us as like future athletic therapists are going to be more confident in, very just strong skill based in. But like personally speaking, like when it comes to nutrition, like nutrition is not going to be like a huge point that I'm going to be like very like knowledgeable on. So that's going to be like times when I'm going to have to grow from other people that might be surrounding me and reach out to people that I know that might be in a different profession that know more about nutrition in this case. Like being able to work with that medical team, like as a whole, I think we all have the same end goal as getting athlete A back out onto the field or back out onto the ice. Like, why not all work together as one big team to try and help this same end goal, as opposed to saying, I want all the responsibility because I can do a better job. There's things that a lot of people aren't going to be, or that will do a lot better than I will be able to do. So why not let them do it and grow from them, prod their brain, try and gain some knowledge from that team? Because if we can all be really good at something and then like are really good at everything, but experts at one thing, why don't we let the expert do what they're really good at and be really good at everything else, like to help them?
Sure. Great talking points. And, I just went back and rewatched and listened to the seminar on mental health. And one thing that I think you've drawn on is that we don't have to be everything to everybody, but we do sort of need to understand all those different areas and understand where expertise may be needed and where we do need to have a little bit of understanding of nutrition. And if that's an area of weakness, we either enhance our understanding of nutrition or we find somebody that we can refer to. And this is what I'm trying to navigate, and I hope I can coach into students as well as we move through, and practitioners, right? We've had sports physios on here, sports chiros, medical doctors, doctors of orthopedic, athletic trainer, any number of people, professional athletes. And what it comes down to is the relationships, the understanding, and the ability to have that athlete-centered approach, right? And so if I don't know it, I better know somebody who knows it to get the best answer. I think that collaboration is massive. That's also part of the placement opportunity, I think, when we go to multidisciplinary clinics. Sorry, the dogs are going crazy. It was only a matter of time, but we made it longer. The over-under was set at 26 minutes. We're longer than that in. So if you had the over, you win. Adam and Taryn, over there in Ireland, do you guys have the opportunity to work amongst other professions? We've talked about physio quite heavily in Europe, right? Obviously in Ireland. Are your placements, or do you have placements in the future or in the past, or people that you know in the program doing placements with people other than athletic therapists?
Go ahead, Adam, go ahead.
Well, regard to placement, we haven't been on placement as such, so it's hard for me to tell you like whether or not we will or not. But like as Zach said before, if you're involved with a team and stuff, there's so much more than just the rehab of like an athlete. There's the nutrition, there's dietitians, there's just sports scientists. Like me and Taryn in first year, like I don't know about Taryn, but me personally, when I seen like the course name rehab, I was thinking like, oh, this is just going to be rehab fully, and that would be it. And like you got a shock for yourself when you went in and you had to do physics, biology, chemistry,
Right.
sports science, physiology. I was just like, oh my God, like I thought I'd be just doing like rehab and rehab only. And it's only this year that like this semester now we're going to be starting to do like actual rehab stuff. So we have like a bit of knowledge, let's just say, on a few different things that I didn't think I would have had to get knowledge on. And even with like when I'm coaching and stuff, you'd always have one of like the young lads saying like, oh, what do you think I should eat? Or how do you think I should prep for a match? And I'm like, oh, like I know a bit, but I don't know like the full circle, if you get me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Taryn, same thing. If you know any of the upper years or anybody at Carlow later on than you, or people who have been through it, are there opportunities, or is it strictly athletic therapy placement?
I think there's so many opportunities just alone with having been over here. Like I could also go back home and have their different opportunities, right? But here is I think we have the opportunity in fourth year, second semester, to go work with MLB and for spring training. And I think like that is just that is incredible. The fact that a tiny little college in Carlow is able to go to the States and work with these major sports teams, right?
Yeah, amazing.
But I think there's definitely a lot more. It's not really centered around athletic therapy, but it's the different aspects, like different things like you can take from a chiropractor, and you can share between that, right? Like you have the similar mindset in some ways.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful profession. I think it leaves us wide open to so many opportunities. It allows us to do, I don't want to say a little bit of chiropractic work, but a little bit of work that everybody does. It really, our profession allows us to maneuver a little bit differently. I think we can be a liaison in any way, right? To any profession or within any profession. I sort of see us as, a central piece and other spokes coming off of it. That's how I view the profession now more than ever. And I think we need to continue to build that sort of emphasis on, it's not comparing ourselves or we're a physio, but we do this, or a chiro that we do this, but it's here's what we house. And we're more than happy to be the piece that refers onward, right? And shares the space and continues to grow. My experience with the ATC and being through the NATA and previously being certified that way was there was a little bit more pharmacology in terms of understanding of drug usage and drug interaction and these kinds of things in that schooling, a little bit maybe field-based as opposed to clinically based, but that's all shifted since I came through school. So Mike, how about you? Opportunities to share and care and do those things with different professionals. There's obvious value in it. What have things been like for you? How do you see that value as a student and about to enter the professional world?
Yeah, I think the interdisciplinary approach is vital. I mean, you're as one person, you're not going to know everything, and that's just fact. There's always going to be someone that knows more than you, and knowing who those people are is absolutely crucial for either patients or clients to improve optimally, I should say. That collaboration, that networking aspect is absolutely key. It's kind of funny you brought this up. I remember growing up as a kid, like thinking I was going to be a physio or whatever it was. Like I had a couple other friends that did other healthcare practitioners, and same, like, one's a chiro, one's a physio, one's a massage, one's a whatever. Like they all are in these different things. And I figured, like, in our hometown, we could open up an interdisciplinary one day. It was like our pipe dream back when we were younger. And I mean, I think going forward, that's still one of the best approaches. If you can have a one-stop shop for clients to come in with whatever injury, and a bunch of people can kind of take their perspectives on how to improve that person, why not listen to information? Like why shut down good advice on how to make someone better? I mean, that's kind of our whole core of our job, is like help people improve through their injuries. So I think that's an absolutely necessary way to do it. I think as long as you can reduce that competitiveness, I mean, if you're in the right round of people or the right environment, it shouldn't be there. And I think that's the best way to go. But yeah, like injuries are puzzles, right? I mean, the more people you can get helping you to solve it, the better you're going to be. So
yeah, so long as we're not muddying the waters, right? And we're sort of just stirring the pot and trying to get to the bottom of it to make something that tastes better than muddy soup. But absolutely, I think that interdisciplinary approach is massive. I've had opportunities to be in spaces where that was the case, that wasn't the case, that was a focus, that wasn't a focus, and sort of 14, 15 years later into the profession, you're all spot on. And this opportunity to share, to learn from as many people as possible, to continually grow yourself with the focus of care at the center is massive. I have an opportunity now to work in a gym where I am on the gym floor as a strength and conditioning specialist and athletic therapist, where I pull somebody from something that doesn't look right and tweak and move and do some manual stuff, and then right back in the squat rack, where treatment is no longer seen as this happens behind a closed door and I only go to see him or her when I'm hurt. I see them all the time because they're a part of this performance space, of this wellness space. And I think those are critical. I have one more that I want to get to all of you. I have this vision, but before we get there, this is session 54 of First Star Let's Chat and Athletic Therapy Roundtable with our guests Taryn, Adam, Mike, and Zach, student experience in athletic therapy, all the way from Ireland to Ontario here in Canada, and then over to the West Coast in British Columbia. Great shares, great stories, great experiences, and all part of building this network outward. I think it's crucial to listen to our students. I think it's drastically under-measured in terms of its value. And I think moving forward, the more discussion we can have, the better, to get a pulse of what's going on, to learn from you and with you, and continue to help build this thing and continue the momentum moving forward. Which leads me to my very last question. I have this vision of, like, doing some, I don't want to say interdisciplinary, but it would be intradisciplinary, matching up something like this, where we have students from different AT programs doing some collaborative work together, doing some collaborative learning. How does that play in your mind? You like this idea, or you're happy with your own pocket? I think it's the sharing piece is massive. I don't really know what that vision looks like. I realize it's a general question, but do you like this idea of sort of knowing that your profession and your colleagues can be anywhere on the planet? And can we do a better job of sharing that moving forward, I guess, is a better question. Mike, let's go with you. You're highlighted on my screen.
Sure. I think this is the year of, if any, to go exactly down that approach. I mean, everyone's on networked stuff because of Zoom anyways. Like, why can't we do stuff like this more often? I mean, you pick a neutral time that it works for everybody. I mean, we're across the globe here, and we're still collaborating, which is fantastic. Across other schools would be huge, I think. I mean, the more we can improve our profession by all learning together, why not take advantage of it? Again, I don't exactly know how that looks, but it's something that last year we had to do an accreditation at Camosun, and I was lucky enough to be on like the student board of it. And one of the points that got brought up was like, how can we have more collaboration in between years of our school? You know, like, so first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and the same idea. I mean, if you can get fourth years teaching aiding first years across the country, I think it's like only positive things can come from it. It could be first years helping first years, second years helping second years, whatever, like a chat group, or maybe just some sort of like a podcast just like this, just for people to share their experiences and talk and ask questions. I mean, the more you can do that, the more communication, the more collaboration you can inspire. It's just going to skyrocket our profession forward, I think.
Absolutely. And on that note, I'll do a little plug for the WFATT, which is a world Congress coming to Winnipeg in 2022, we hope, right? So I have no allegiance to anybody in this, but I think that's a big one. I think that's a big one where you can celebrate this profession, right? Which is the federation that's responsible for athletic training and therapy, right? The World Federation. So maybe in 2022, we all get together, different countries. We keep coming up with some good ideas on how to bridge, build bigger bridges, right, from Canada to different parts of the world. And I think it's coming. I think, the more conversations we have, and you touched on it, this pandemic is forcing us to do some things that we've never done before. Let's get a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable, start having some conversations across the pond, and really start building this thing outwards. So I'll just jump back to Ireland for one more here. Adam, Taryn, do you like this idea of sort of branching out and collaborating across our profession?
Absolutely. That it would be it would be so good to have other people like experiences. Just the fact that you're here, I'm here. Like it's one thing, let alone like you could be in the same room with another person who is the same class, same course, everything. But to have people who can share experiences to be across the globe is amazing. It would be a great opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, and so that was the impetus for this one. I started talking to you, I think, back in October, and tried to lay this thing out, and then Mike and Zach and Adam came on board, and I think this is the beginning of something that I'd like to sort of organize and structure, and maybe you guys can, if you have some extra time, we can talk about this into the future and sort of building this thing out, even in a rather informal setting. Doesn't necessarily have to be through the schools. I've taken a bunch of notes from listening to you guys and chatting with you guys here. We're up against it, getting close to an hour. I wanted to thank you again for being here, for your time, for your sharing. I think, again, we don't have to be the top acknowledged expert in a field to share our story, and you guys sharing your experiences and your vision and your knowledge and what you've taken to date goes a long way for me. It goes a long way for each other and for our profession. So again, thank you so much for being here. It's session 54, First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy roundtable, brought to you by Mobility Tape, the only heat activated kinesiology tape on the market. Once again, the shot you don't want to take if you haven't listened to it or checked it out yet. Full public access through the YouTube channel. It's a seminar in mental health and addiction in the sports space, similar to this, just kicking down the doors on some of the conversations that we feel are extremely important and need to be happening to sort of continue some momentum in areas that matter. You guys matter. You are the future of our profession. This has been the student experience. This has been amazing. I know a little all over the place and dogs barking. You hung with me on this. I appreciate it. I'll thank you guys for this. A lot of thank yous coming in here for everybody picking this up. Thank you so much. Share with your friends, share with your colleagues, share with your teammates, share it with the barking dogs. The more conversations, the better. This profession is one that is undermined on a regular basis, but at the same time, once people know about it, it is appreciated through and through. So Taryn, Adam, Zach, Mike, I will wish you good morning, good afternoon, good night. Session 54 comes to a wrap. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James.
Thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this community. Check us out online, firststartherapy.com. That's FIRSTAR therapy.com. Or email us with feedback, consult@firststartherapy.com. CONSULT@firststartherapy.com. On Instagram @firststar.therapy, and our podcast host @letschat.at. This is First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast.